Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I apologize for the extended break here, for the extended delay, but we have returned with our third place match, and I hope you are ready for something that I was not expecting. We are getting into a PvZ, not a ZvZ, something that I have never seen before, but we have a player, this player specifically, off racing and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Solaris. We have our red Protoss player representing Starlight Twinkle, typically Zerg, but here he is as a Protoss player. It is Wayne. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Zerg player representing the Platinum Heroes, not off racing. It is YoungYakov. Oh my god. Okay, so I was a little bit concerned. I thought we were going to be remaking, but yeah, I mean, we have had players off race before, you know, Rainer famously. We've seen Dark off race, we've seen Hero off race. I have yet to see Wayne's off race. I mean, we've seen Estrella play Terran and Protoss. Sorry, of course he plays Protoss. We've seen Estrella play Terran, we've seen Future play Protoss, we've seen a decent amount of players off race before, but not quite Wayne. This is my first time. This is going to be my first time witnessing the Protoss of Wayne. What do you have in store for us? Show us what you got. Meanwhile, we have a 15-15. 15 hatchery into a 15 spawning pool. A very safe opener here out of YoungYakov. It is a little bit less economic, but with this opener, he gets his natural up and running. Going to be able to expand here on location without being disturbed, without being disrupted by this probe. So far, a very safe way to open up. Meanwhile, Wayne across the map going for a gate expand. Now, again, I don't know what to expect. I don't know the skill level of Wayne's Protoss. I don't know if he's 6k or 5k or 5.5k. I'm not certain. So we can all judge together. And if you're in the chat, if maybe you've seen Wayne's off race before, let us know. Let us know. Give us a little bit of insight, because I'm assuming he wants to play Skytoss. I'm assuming he's going to go triple Oracle. No, actually, he should go Void Ray first, right? Void Ray first would be a lot of fun. As a Zerg player off racing, but we'll see as YoungYakov does push out with a handful of links. Ooh, does get some good surface area here on the gateway already. We skipped the Zealot. We did end up skipping the Zealot. We have an Adept on the way, but the attack rate is quite low. This gateway is going to go down. Wayne, he's in a lot of trouble here. The gateway is under fire. Probe, it does come down to the low ground. We can fully wall off. We can try to at least. Oh, we barely do wall off. No! The wall is not a wall. The Adept, it's gonna be going down. It gets surrounded. And Wayne is in a lot of trouble right now. There's nothing else in production here. The gateway did fall. The pylon is under threat. The boys, they have to be pulled. The probes, they're off the line. They're chasing down these lings, but so much lost mine time. This is already paying for itself. This is already achieving so much damage. And we get us around here on the pylon. The pylon is so low. A couple more hits. Just a little bit further, and it does go down. A big pick off there for YoungYakov. Wayne in a lot of trouble. Before he could even get into his game, before he could even get into his opener, he's at death's door here. He's chasing down these lings as best he can. More lost mining time. It is going to be an Oracle opener, not a Void Ray. Oracle still underway. Behind this, YoungYakov happily droning. He's droning. Getting his hatchery on the way as well. Remember, it was a 15-15 opener. What this means, late gas. So no link speed. No link speed. He did make an abundance of links early on just to harass, and he's achieved so much with it. It has more than paid for itself. YoungYakov, he's up over 10 workers now getting into gas. Because the gas is so late, we could just go into roach production. We could just skip link speed and go into 2-base roach. We'll see. We'll see what YoungYakov does go for, as Wayne is counterattacking with his Oracle. Oh, YoungYakov, he's even double expanding. He's even taking 2 bases at a time here. That's how far ahead he is. No Spore, though. Ooh, a little bit greedy here, but no Spore in position. We're going to get some drone damage. 3 drones do go. 4 drones even. Pretty good here from Wayne, not going to lie. 4 worker kills, but oh my god. The Oracle takes a lot of damage. Does take a lot of hits. Behind this, I believe we have, yep, second Oracle on the way, joining up with the first. Behind this, we're going for a Twilight Council, no Forge. This looks like Glaive Adepts, and it looks like it because it is. There we go. Glaives is on the way. It makes sense. I mean, Wayne has to be hyper-aggressive. A long macro game is not going to work in his favor. Once again, no Sport the third. Once again, lost mining time. Adepts a shade into the natural. Wayne, he's achieving a lot of damage here. But he's being shut down. Looking at the unit loss tab here, he kills 8 drones in total. Not too bad. Not bad whatsoever. But he still needs more. He still needs more. As there we go, the gateways are being thrown down. We have 5 gates in total. I know that there is a third base on the way, but based on what we're seeing right now, it looks like this third is a fake out. It looks like the third is a fake out here. As we are going to be committing quite hard to these Glaive Adepts. Now, again, this is basically an all-in out of Wayne. Wayne, this needs to get damage done. This has to trade well. If it doesn't, then Wayne is going to be so far behind that I don't know if he can recover. Meanwhile, YoungYakov happily droning, working towards a Roach Warren. As we did mention, he did invest into Link Speed. He still did get that upgrade. And there we go. Roaches are amassing. Cutting workers at 61. That is 3 base saturation. Just under 3 bases. As we pick off another 2 drones. Again, so far the harassment from Wayne has been solid. Like his Oracle control, his Adept control, his harass has been on point. But he's still playing from behind. That's the problem. He's still playing from a deficit, and we now have hit with Adepts, or with Glaives. Glaives is now wrapped up. It's now done. We don't have a lot to work with. We have, what, 7 Adepts? 9. We have another wave on the way. Another wave of Adepts here on the way. We're zooming across the map. It's going to be on these Adepts to deal critical damage. But they get scouted. They do get scouted. They get confirmed. YoungYakov, we've got 9 Roaches in production. He's getting in position as well. And YoungYakov, he should not take damage from this. He should be able to deal with this. Should be able to shut it down. There we go. We commit to the Shade. We have a good amount headed towards the natural. 4 Adepts working towards the third. Drones are being targeted. We are getting damage done. 6 drones go down. 7 drones go down in total. But that's not enough. That's not enough. We're going for a massive counterattack. As you can see here, look at the supply. We have 18 Roaches. We have 31 Lings. And Wayne has very little to defend. Remember what I said before. When we invest into Glaive Adepts, we put everything else behind. Blink is late. +1 is late. The Stalker count, it's getting up there, but still struggling. YoungYakov trying to pull apart his opponent. Does get on top of the shield battery. Does force the overcharge. And we have 20 more Lings in production. YoungYakov, he's doubling down on this aggression, on this push. He has drawn up to 4 bases. He has 70 workers, which is good. But again, he's still focusing on his army. As Oracles, they do head in between the bases. To threaten that 4th. YoungYakov still amassing his army. And again, like this push, I don't know how we stop it, especially with Overcharge being on cooldown. Remember that. It is on cooldown. We're pushing towards that third. Yeah, shield battery is going to get surrounded. The Stalkers, oh god, they struggle against the Roaches here. So many of them going down. Blink is done, +1 is done. But it may be too little too late. As we have taken control of the third base. Probes are going down. Big stasis though. Not bad. Not a bad stasis trap here. Overcharge is forced, but the pylon goes down. The overcharge gets depowered. It does get depowered, and YoungYakov, he's busting into the natural. Gets into the mineral line, and we annihilate that mineral line. 28 probes go down. A devastating amount of damage. GG gets called, and YoungYakov takes a 1-0 lead. GG. GG, well played. Again, it was just a very rough start for Wayne. Very rough start. I appreciate that he was, whipping out his off race and whipping out his Protoss. But, again, the initial Ling attack from YoungYakov did game-ending damage. He killed so many probes, killed the pylon, and did delay so much of the economy, so much of the mining time that Wayne, he was, again, playing from behind from the get-go, essentially. It was just a rough start. He was doing a great job at recovering. Like, he was able to kill 8 workers. He was able to harass with some Adepts. But when you're investing into 5-gate Glaive Adept like that, you need to do more damage. You have to do more damage than what we saw. And without that critical damage, we saw YoungYakov snowball out of control instead. GG, well played. And here we go. We're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our red Protoss player, typically Zerg, but whipping out his Protoss here in this series, representing Starlight Twinkle. It is Wayne. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have our blue Zerg player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is YoungYakov. Here we go. As we are settling into this. Oh, be careful if you're in the chat. Don't get baited, Papi. Don't get baited. Protoss haven't been winning tournaments in years. That's just not true. Hero won a GSL. Unless you're referring to that being the last big win. Yeah, it is unfortunate. It is unfortunate that when it comes to Protoss representation, it is stifled, especially with, you know, a player like MaxPax not competing in offline events. You know, that does also skew things in a certain direction, which is a big shame. Yeah, maybe one day, Copia, maybe one day MaxPax will leave his room. Maybe one day. Oh, but yeah, I mean, shout out to Wayne, by the way. He's sticking to his guns. He is sticking to his guns. He is, of course, going to be competing and continuing to compete here as Protoss, not switching to Zerg, not switching to his main race. Again, I'm sure a big reason for that, just for those that are curious, the big reason why Raynor prefers playing Protoss against Zerg is because ZVZ is very chaotic. In general, mirror matchups are very chaotic, and Raynor, he does fare his Protoss better than his Zerg in that matchup specifically. Like, his PvZ is better than his ZVZ. That's why we see Raynor. I mean, we just casted him against Scarlet. Like, he played Protoss against Scarlet. He played Protoss against, or in at-home Hatchery Cup. He plays Protoss against Cyril. For those who maybe aren't aware, last week when we were casting Masters Coliseum, we were casting Raynor, and specifically he wanted to play Protoss against Cyril in that tournament, but he wasn't allowed to. For Masters Coliseum, there was a rule that you have to pick one race to play for the entire tournament. You cannot race switch or race pick. So, unfortunately, Raynor wanted to play Protoss in Masters Coliseum as well, but was not allowed to, unfortunately. But specifically, it's to avoid the ZVZ matchup. For those that are curious. I don't know if that's the same rationale for Wayne. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if he prefers PvZ over ZVZ just because he didn't play Protoss against Nikic. But we'll find out. You know what? I'll ask him. After this series, maybe tomorrow, I'll message Wayne. I never like asking players, especially if they lose. I don't like asking players about a matchup, because, you know, like, they just lost. So maybe down the line I'll ask him. Meanwhile, Lings, they do slip into the main base. They did force quite a lot of lost mine time as well. This time, though, Wayne gets a much stronger start. A much more stable start here to this game. As this time, you know, he doesn't lose a bunch of workers, doesn't lose his pylon, doesn't lose even powering here at the natural base. As behind this, YoungYakov is making quite a massive wave of Lings. Oh my god, the aggression continues! He's amassing more and more Lings, sending them across the map. His goal here is to deny this third base. Thankfully, Wayne does keep his Oracle back at home, but maybe I spoke too soon, as the Oracle does move out. As the Oracle moves out, Lings are moving in. So we'll see if Wayne can hold on to that third. As Lings, they do dive on that third base. Oracle's not too far away, though. Now, we do get a surround good surface area. The Oracle forced to spend its energy back at home instead. As YoungYakov, he's just continuing to threaten this, and basically because he's threatening this this Nexus, he's just forcing these Oracles to stay at home. The Queen Walk is upon us. YoungYakov is going for an all-in. He cuts workers at 42. It's going to be a Ling Bane all-in, or Ling Bane Queen all-in, as we're waddling everything across the map. The aggression is continuing, and Wayne just now realizes what's going on. This third base, it should be forfeit. As I say that though, YoungYakov is droning. He's faking it out. Interesting. Okay, so basically, I mean, I say he's faking it out. He's still making more. Never mind. He made a handful of drones, but he's still committing nonetheless. Just a little bit of two minds, a little bit of indecision out of YoungYakov, because he continues to squeeze out a couple of drones whenever he can. But the Bailings are done. We're looking to collapse on top of these adepts. Oracles are doing what they can. And here we go, Wayne. Decent split here, avoiding those Bailings. Oh my god. Does avoid the Bailings. Good connections here from these pulsar beams. Does focus them down, but we are zoned away from the third base, and this third should go down. As I say that, YoungYakov getting greedy goes for a surround. I'm not too fond of this. He goes for the surround. He doesn't kill the army, which means this hatchery may live, or this Nexus may live. It's going to be close, but yeah, it does get focused down. Does barely fall. And with that, YoungYakov, he backs off. He's droning. He's transitioning out of this, working on his lair. Bearing in mind, his lair is very late. His lair is insanely late. Here at the 6-minute 30 mark. Going to finish up by 7 minutes. And with that, it means that Wayne, tech-wise at least, is ahead. We've got Charge. Temple Archives finishing up. Charge of Archon should be on the horizon as well. And Wayne has 5 Oracles. My god. The Spore may be done, but we can focus it down. Yeah, the Spore does fall. The Queen soon thereafter, but we're losing Oracles. Not the best trade here from Wayne. Yeah, did misjudge this. Loses 3 Oracles. 4 Oracles go down. Ay, ay, ay. And Wayne does have to pull back. There was potential. There was so much potential there for those Oracles to deal damage, but YoungYakov, he's able to stabilize here economically. He's getting into Roach production. Roach speed is on the way with the completion of that lair. And Wayne, can he stabilize from here? If he still had his Oracles, then I would think so. With his Oracles, he would be able to deal with those Lings and even deal with a small amount of Roaches. But Wayne, he's going to be on the back foot here. And YoungYakov, he has map control. That's what's important. He has map control. He's taking 4th base, taking up, droning up, getting further ahead. I do think that the best chance for Wayne is that if YoungYakov is too greedy, if he drones up too hard, if he drones up to 80, for example, taking up into Hive Tech, then maybe Wayne can take advantage of him. But that's going to be a big if. We'll see. We'll see if he can pull it off. Do shut down the Overlord. Wayne is pushing. Unfortunately for Wayne, YoungYakov wasn't droning. That's the problem here. He wasn't droning. He wasn't being too greedy. YoungYakov, he's been amassing more Ling Bane Roach here. A massive army. Has double the army supply even. And he can collapse on this. He can and he will. He forces a recall. It's not going to be good enough. Across the map, I was talking about that Warp Prism. Wasn't with the army, was instead harassing here. Goes for a big warp in into the main base. Does force back the main army. Does buy Wayne a little bit of time to establish his third. Cannons, shield batteries are all amassing here. Can Wayne survive? If he can somehow survive the next assault, then he can come back in this game. 100%. You can see Wayne, he's been able to probe up. Has an even amount of workers, even ahead in workers. He may have an economic lead, but it's all about the army right now. It's all about the supply, all about the army supply at least. Bailings are rolling in. Roach Ravager is amassing. Wayne, now is not the time for a run by. The Zealots, they get caught out all on their own. They get caught isolated. And with that YoungYakov, there's almost nothing to protect these Archons. We can keep pushing. Overcharge is popped. Archons, they're so alone. They're so exposed. They are going to get picked off one after the other. And YoungYakov, he's looking to snowball out of control. He breaks the third base for a second time. And Wayne, I appreciate seeing his off race. I never did witness his Protoss before. I'm happy to see it here again. or here for the first time, and I'll be happy to see it again after this. I'll probe his mind the next time we see it. As we break through the Archons, we're down to 2 bases. We have an Immortal at least. We have a couple of shield batteries. Shield batteries are good, don't get me wrong, but they're not that good. As, yeah, we collapsed on the 4th base. I mean, it was up and running, but then we got 31 probes go down. The Nexus as well, and we barely have a standing army. GG gets called, and YoungYakov will take the series 2-0. We'll be taking that 3rd place spot. GG. Oh. GG, well played. YoungYakov will be taking that 3rd place spot. Does come out with a little bit of extra prize money as a result. !B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the prize pool distribution. But yeah, it does come out with some extra cash money in the end. GG, well played. With that, we have wrapped up our bronze match, but we are here to determine who is going to be our champion. Up next, we have a best of 5. Not a best of 3, a best of 5 here between Geralt and Nikic. And we did see a couple of people mention it before, but Nikic has been playing so well today. He popped off. I mentioned at the time, but Nicorect was favored. Nicorect, our Terran player, he was favored against Nikic. Wayne was favored against Nikic. Everyone is favored against Nikic, but he still made it through anyway. He worked his way through Nicorect, through Wayne. It wasn't easy. It was ace matches all around. It went all the way to the ace match time and time again, but Nikic has had an amazing run tonight. Can he keep it going? Can he keep it up? He's in the grand finals against Geralt. And as I mentioned, once again, Geralt is the favorite player. Like, once again, Nikic is coming in as the underdog, as he always does. But maybe today is his day, you know? Maybe there's just something in the air, something in the water. Maybe Nikic can pop off and have a bit of a Cinderella story here. Maybe he can walk that royal road and become our champion for the first time for Hatchery Cup. I look forward to it. I do look forward to it here. We'll see.